This week marks the start of a new academic year at SDSU, so we figured who would be better to talk to about what to expect at SDSU this year than SDSU student Andrew Rasmussen. He is a journalism and political science double major who currently serves as Students Association president. Did I get that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here today, Andrew. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You're from here in Brookings, right?
Yeah, I grew up here in Brookings, lived here since I think I was about 5 years old. So I would say I've been almost a lifelong jackrabbit and happy to continue my time here at SDSU.
So I got to ask the question, why did you decide to come to SDSU if you're from Brookings?
You know, I really just enjoyed the campus, came looked around a little bit. I will admit, when I was younger in high school, definitely wasn't my first choice. I definitely had the mindset of got to get out of town. But as I progressed through my high school career and really started looking at SDSU, it was definitely the choice for me.
Would you say that you made the right decision?
Yeah, I've never looked back on that one.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about your involvement here at SDSU. Obviously, SA president is a big one.
Yeah, so I was just elected to the Students Association as president this past spring. So really just kind of getting in the groove of things and kind of getting everything figured out here as we start off this new semester. But we're super excited, me and my team, to really get things going and hopefully do some good work for students.
Sure. What are some plans that you guys have for this year or things you'd like to pursue maybe?
Yeah, so kicking off the year, we're really looking at promoting student engagement. We didn't have the most ideal last year in terms of student engagement. So really looking to help support student organizations who are looking to build back their membership, get more involved on campus, and really giving students the opportunities that we had pre-pandemic, I guess.
Sure. Getting involved is super important for anybody going to college. What are some examples of things that students can get involved in here at SDSU?
Yeah, so SDSU has over 240 student organizations. Those can range anywhere from your major specific organization, so things that are going to align perfectly with your major, probably ran by your faculty in that department, all the way up to more of those special interest groups of things that might just be your hobbies. So if you're into rock climbing, we have a rock climbing club. I've heard there's skydiving, knitting, pretty much anything you can think of, SDSU has a club for. And through Students Association, if we don't have a club that's right for you, it only takes 7 members to start one. So that's always an option as well.
7 members. I wonder why 7?
That's a very good question.
And skydiving club, how do you even go about that? Can you do that around here? I'm really curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think that's one I'm going to be joining. A little height fear for me, but definitely a really cool option.
Same here. Heights really scare me. So tell me about your programs, journalism and political science double major. It's a little ambitious, but what's kind of your thought process there?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in government and politics, and so that's where the political science major really plays into part. I'd say the journalism major was kind of a late addition into my college career, just coming out of things I got involved with. I started out as a public relations major, took some classes, got involved with the Collegian, and that really pointed me towards more of the journalism side of things.
Cool. And one part of the journalism program is they require you to do an internship, and you just completed one this summer with South Dakota News Watch.
Yeah, so South Dakota News Watch, really great experience. Got a lot of in-depth knowledge on the journalism industry. A little bit of background for that organization. It's actually a nonprofit news organization, so they cover statewide news. Anything that we cover then is free for any media partners in the state to publish. So that can be small weekly papers. It can be the Argus Leader, KOLAND, any of those major stations as well. And really just try to look at in-depth issues that South Dakota is having. So less of that kind of 24-hour news cycle thing and more of that long-form investigative journalism. What
would you say is one important thing you've learned through your internship?
Yeah, so as far as the journalism side goes, the importance of sourcing and having a wide base of sources for any story that you're covering is something I learned pretty quickly that was important, especially when you're covering something that's the entire state of South Dakota, making sure you get the West River angles, the East River angles, small town, big town, those types of things.
Why would you recommend someone do an internship? I mean, in any major, getting that experience is super important.
Yeah, I would say, you can learn a lot from the classroom, but you're really going to get more of that industry knowledge from any internships that you complete. So I've done 3 at my time here at SDSU. Interned for Congressman Dusty Johnson the summer after my freshman year, spent a semester in the state legislature 2 years ago now, and then the summer with South Dakota News Watch. All of them gave me a lot more knowledge about the industries that I'm thinking about pursuing. Then also a lot of really great connections. So I have contacts and recommendations from people all over the state and all different types of industries, I guess you could say, that I can use in the future.
And you're a senior, right?
Yes.
So those will be super beneficial for you moving forward, as you're applying for jobs and making your resume.
Yeah, I've always thought it's important to have a really good resume, both on the side of like references and job experience, and then also that experience here on campus. I don't have, I guess, a lot of first world knowledge in this, but I've been told that those extracurriculars really are important in showing leadership on campus and things like that.
That's awesome. So with this being the first week of classes, there are a lot of students coming to campus for the first time, trying to get the hang of things. What's a piece of advice you would give them?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to jump outside your comfort zone, especially when it comes to getting involved in student organizations here on campus. Speaking from personal experience, journalism is not something I would have considered had I not, joined the Collegian and tried out that. So I think that getting those experiences in areas that you might be interested in, but maybe that's not your passion, can still really be super fruitful for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, you never know like what you're interested in necessarily until you try it, and joining clubs is a really good way to do that.
Exactly. I would say join as many clubs as you can your freshman year, and then you can kind of narrow it down as you go through your college career.
Right. There's like an online resource that students can use to try and find clubs, right? Yeah.
So Jack's Club Hub is kind of our comprehensive list for all of the clubs here on campus. That'll give you club information, contact information. There's like sort features on there, so you can mark things that you're interested in, and it'll give you the clubs that match that search.
What are some certain projects that you and Rachel and your team are looking to pursue this year?
Yeah, so we have a few different initiatives, I guess, that we are going to be kind of looking at just to see if there are options here on campus. One of the big ones that we're going to be starting out with is a syllabus bank. So that's essentially a large database for all the syllabus and classes that SDSU offers, so that if you're a student looking to maybe take a class that you're just not sure about, you can have access to that information before you actually enroll in it. So that's something we'll be kind of pursuing. Looking at like ADA accessibility and ways that we can improve that here on campus is something that's really important to both Rachel and myself. And some just other kind of like transparency things with Students Association, really communicating with students what we've got going on and how they can get involved that way.
A syllabus bank, I would have never thought of that. How did you guys come up with that, to try and pursue?
Yeah, it's actually something we've seen is just a couple of other campuses in the country have done. They kind of all offer them in different ways, whether they're run per department or campus-wide. So it's something that we saw they're doing elsewhere and thought would be a really good benefit for students here at SDSU. Yeah, so as you probably noticed pretty quickly, you're going to be getting a weekly email from me called the Rabbit Report. Those can be pretty easy to ignore, but I'd really encourage students to take a look at those, as they're going to have all of the campus happenings for that upcoming week. So if you're someone who's looking to get involved, looking for an excuse to get out of your residence hall a little bit, the Rabbit Report's going to be a really good resource to find ways to get involved here on campus.
And that will be emailed to students from you personally?
Yep, so that comes from the SA president's email. Usually every single Monday that we have class, that'll be sent out.
Okay, so they can look for it on Mondays and be sure. So now you're a senior, are you a little nostalgic that, this is your last first week, looking back, 4 years ago, you just started here?
Yeah, it is crazy. My dad actually just sent me a Snapchat memory from 3 or 4 years ago that was us moving into our residence hall in Ben Rifle back my freshman year. So it's definitely kind of starting to come back a little bit, and that realization is definitely setting in that this is kind of the last year. But I'm very excited that my last year is going to be a little bit more normal looking. I'm really looking forward to, the football games, Jack's Bash 2 for sure, and all the really great things that are happening here on campus.
Yeah. You've obviously learned a lot and gotten involved since you've been here, but if you could give a piece of advice to your freshman self, what would you tell him?
Yeah, this is something that I've kind of always lived by, but I always say yes to opportunities. Even if you're not 100% sure it'll be the right fit for you, just say yes, try it out. There's always room to adjust later on, but you'll never know if you don't try. So I always say, just say yes to any opportunity that presents itself.
It's a pretty good mentality right there. What is your favorite kind of SDSU ice cream?
I'm a big fan of the classic cookies and cream. That's always been my go-to. Was just at the Dairy Bar a couple of days ago, and they had a caramel cookies and cream though. So that one might take the cake now.
They make so many variations of cookies and cream. It's insane. Like, they also have like coffee cookies and cream and like chocolate cookies and cream. And I'm like, how are there so many of one ice cream? But they do it because people like it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely their target market there with all those variations.
The Dairy Bar is a pretty good place for like students to hang out too. Like, I see a lot of students that like to study there, and obviously it's a really cool spot for like the first few weeks of class.
For sure, yeah. The Dairy Bar, Student Union, definitely my top two like study and hangout spots.
So if you see Andrew around campus, you can take a look for him at the Dairy Bar, I guess, and the University Student Union at the SA office. Thanks for being here with me today, Andrew. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great school year. It's your last one, so make the most of it for sure. This is Between Classes. Thanks for listening.